Penelope Garcia is an elementary teacher in a small school in northern New York. She is a thoughtful, kind, and patient instructor who works well with children. But you see, she understands that one of her jobs as a teacher is not only to be able to work well with kids, but to be able to get them to develop the social skills and healthy communication skills needed for them to get along with each other. So sometimes when she sees a conflict, she likes to wait a second because from time to time, conflicts will resolve themselves. So when she sees little Timothy and a young student named John sitting next to each other working on a math problem, she listens as they disagree about the solution. She starts to hear them get a little bit heated, and she waits a beat longer. One of them suddenly remembers that they can figure out definitively how to solve the problem if they just work through it together and show each other their work. She is delighted when this conflict manages to resolve itself. But what would have happened if a conflict hadn't resolved itself? Or, better, what even is a conflict? I think that many of us have a negative connotation. We have a negative gut instinct to hearing the word conflict. And I don't know if that's the healthiest possible attitude to have with regards to conflicts. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Hi friends, my name is Luciano and I make videos on the internet. In today's video, I wanted to talk about conflict, which is something that I am very educated in as I actually have a master's degree in it, and I thought it would be fun to help people have a better, healthier understanding of conflict. If you are new to my channel, hi, I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Let's get to know each other a little bit, and if you are a returning friend, I'm delighted that you've decided to stop by and make my video a part of your day. It is true that this is not what I talk about very often, but I actually really like talking about conflicts, and I'm excited to have the chance to do it today. Minnesota remains one of the GOATs as far as a state in the United States is, and one of the reasons I say that is that their Department of Administration has an Office of Collaboration and Dispute Resolution, which is going to be the main source that we look at today. I'm going to sort of just walk us through this first page, and I think that that is going to be something that would be very helpful for allowing people to develop a healthier state of mind when it comes to conflict. Right now, what do you think of when you hear the word conflict? I think that's an important first question to ask, and I think that a lot of people are going to have a negative gut reaction, which is understandable. When many people hear the word conflict, they're going to associate it with negativity, stress, violence, and other negative words, words that make them feel afraid, words that make them feel angry, and that is understandable and it's also sad. If someone wants to develop a healthier state of mind when it comes to conflict, we need to work on internalizing and accepting the notion that conflict is not necessarily negative. It certainly can be negative, but it doesn't have to be. A better framework for understanding conflict begins with having a healthier definition for it. Conflict can be defined by some as the perceived incompatibility of interests, needs, and goals between two or more parties, or it can be defined more simply than that as any place two or more people are stuck. That is a very good, healthy understanding of conflict that removes some of the negative baggage that we have with it. Because if you focus on the negative baggage that comes with negative ideas of conflict, then you start to get away from the idea that conflict is something to be avoided. This doesn't mean that we should eagerly seek out conflict, of course, but it does mean that we can work on not viewing conflict as something to be avoided, as something to be fought against, and as something where it would be better for us to just surrender all of our objectives and all of our stuff if it means avoiding conflict. This phenomenally put together source has some important tidbits. One of the things that it says is that healthy conflict is a normal part of life, and this is remarkably true. Humans are a social species, and as a result of that, we are driven to interact with each other, and we benefit from interacting with each other in healthy, pro social ways. Conflict is not necessarily negative. Two people disagreeing on something doesn't mean that one or both parties are in the wrong. It doesn't mean anything negative about those people, at least in and of itself. And healthy conflict is something that can cause growth, it can cause positive changes in relationships, it can be something that is profoundly positive and beneficial for your life, in much the same way as being social in a healthy way is something that can lead to frustrating experiences, and it can also lead to growth, to new opportunities, to better experiences, and to a better life. We need to understand that conflicts, when they are resolved healthily, are capable of transforming us. They're capable of providing us with breakthroughs, and all of that is really, really good. That doesn't mean that conflict in and of itself is some magical, wonderful thing, because many conflicts are not healthy, as this thing itself says. It also goes on to point out that perceived differences, which is one of the things that was a part of its understanding of conflict, can be found all over the place. Because humans are a social species, because humans have built different civilizations, we built different religions, we built different ideas of normalcy, our differences stand in stark contrast when we interact with different people. Sometimes conflicts will occur because people make assumptions about what other people think and what other people need, and they put their desires over the value of developing trusting relationships and solving problems and sharing things and collaborating in mutually beneficial ways. It is very important to note, and I think that this is probably one of the most important takeaways that people will get from this video. There is no one universal silver bullet way of addressing conflict. There is no one approach that is guaranteed to produce results that you want, that is guaranteed to exact and cause change. Conflict resolutions are culturally sensitive and context specific. There are some approaches that are going to work better with some people, and there's some approaches that are going to work better with others. We all learn conflict resolution methods over the course of our life, even if we don't necessarily view them as conflict resolution methods. And as we start to end the video, I do want you to think about that. What sort of conflict resolution methods do you have in your life? What sort of attitudes do you have towards conflict? One idea that I hear pretty regularly that has always fascinated me is the idea that no couple should ever go to bed angry. I don't think that this is a very good attitude to have. I understand the base impulse that guides it, but that is an example of a conflict resolution attitude that is something that influences and drives the way that people interact with each other. I've also heard this said about family and about other sorts of relationships that someone might have. I'm going to encourage you to think about this as I end the video, and I really would love to hear what you think a conflict resolution method or attitude might be. Because when someone says conflict resolution method or a conflict resolution practice, I know that people who are in this field might be thinking of things like the circle method, and other people might be thinking of different ways that they handle conflicts and ways that they work to bring an end to them, which are not necessarily things that have formal names. If you've never heard the circle method, I do think that I will try to see if I can find something for it to have in the background of the conclusion of this video, but I am going to go ahead and start to close this video out. We are now on the website for Restorative Justice 101, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slowly scroll to the bottom of this while I talk about some thoughts at the end of the video. I actually used to do a live stream series where I would talk about conflict. I would talk about conflict planning and communication. I really like it. I really liked the idea. I had a really fun time doing that. I haven't done live streams in a while. As my birthday gets closer and closer, my birthday is on November 16th, for those of you who are curious. I am thinking about what sort of like live stream series I would like to do. I definitely want to do live streams for things that are a little different from the stuff that I normally talk about in videos. I think that would probably be a more fun way for me to do live streams than if I do live streams about like jump chains and all of that. But as you can see here, here's some information on restorative circles, what I called the circle method earlier in the video. This is a method that has a lot of support in restorative justice circles and in peace and conflict studies circles. It can be difficult to arrange the circumstances whereby every party in a conflict will agree to this and will take it seriously. But honestly, even if participants don't take it seriously in the beginning, if they engage with even slightly a little bit of an open mind and the ability to hear other people out, this can be surprisingly effective. It's obviously better if everyone is committed and locked in and ready to make it work, but I have seen this method be practiced in front of me and I have seen it be very helpful. I really, really like my master's degree in peace and conflict studies. I wish that I had more ways to use it and I wish that I could incorporate it into my career more, but I honestly just think that it's a really cool thing to study. It made me appreciate conflicts and disagreements, and I have actually put it to work in my real life in a number of different ways. It has helped me be a better communicator when I am trying to do something serious and thoughtful rather than just having fun with disagreements. I'm someone that I really do like debating. I do find conflicts to be good in some ways. I'm not afraid of a conflict, even though I do tend to try and be like, if I can avoid a conflict, usually it's not worth it, which is something that is important for people to understand. There are going to be times in your life when people are going to disagree with you and you can sense it becoming something more than you feel like it should be. And in those instances, understanding your value set and being willing to do something to avoid a conflict can be helpful. It's just that there are times when you shouldn't run from conflicts and there are times when you shouldn't avoid them. I am going to go ahead and close out the video now. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I look forward to talking to you about this, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Bye-bye, everyone!